Carol. Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. It's me, again, with another story time video, which has only happened like twice, honestly. And it's about work again. As you saw from the thumbnail, the worst customer experience ever. It all started with... Where do we start this? If you don't know what I do, I am a waiter, so in this particular setting, manage reservations of people coming in to dine. And at the time, there's like seating for 20, and most of it was filled at this time. Somebody called to make a reservation and saying they wanted a quieter spot to converse, and I don't know, just so they wouldn't have to talk so loud or worry about being loud in front of others. So I got their spot, very specific spot. And there was a couple other spots open, but walk-in people, it basically became full after that. There's one more spot left. This girl named... I don't know if I should say this. I'll just say bleep it out. This girl named calls, and I can't remember her last... Wait, I know her last name, but it's gonna be bleeped out anyway, so I'm not gonna tell you. We'll call her Carol. So Carol, she calls and she's like, "Hi, wondering if I can get a reservation for 2. And I'm like, let me see. And I look up the calendar and I want to make sure, because you never know. If you gotta triple check, because it would suck to overlap reservations and such. Can't breathe. So there's one spot left and I'm like, okay, I do have one table for you. And she's like, okay, sounds perfect. She didn't specify anything after that, so that was the end of the conversation. Well, her spot was next to, it was a table of 2, just 2, not 4, not 3, just 2. And there was a table right next to them, was also a party of 2, but they were really quiet. But then there was also a reservation for 11 people, and they were so loud. Extremely loud, just like loud talking. She comes in way early. The reservation's at 6:30. She comes in at like 6, I think. And she's like, I have the reservation. I didn't really check, but I knew that she was coming soon. And she's like, hey, I have the reservation. And I'm like, okay, Carol. But Carol. So I'm doing something while she came in, and she just kind of like sat herself at this table that wasn't hers. It was actually the quiet one. We'll call that reservation the reservation for a quiet place. She sat at that table and just like took off her coat and put it on the chair, and I was like, hi, do you have reservations? And she's like, yeah, I do, it's under... I'm like, okay, I actually have you right over here. And she didn't really have a problem with that at that time, and so she went over there, and you could tell she was uncomfortable with the noise and volume of the restaurant, and so it wasn't 10 seconds later. Oh, also, to the right of me, there's one spot for table for 2, and I know these people, they're our neighbors, and they were kind of just watching the whole thing too, kind of backing me up. I could tell they were listening on. And she gets up and she comes over to me and she's like, is there any way we can sit at this table, the quiet place table? And I was like, well, unfortunately, they made a reservation for 4 before you did, and so like I have to give it to them. And she's like, well, is there any way that like, it's a table for 4, but it's 2 tables of 2 put together. She said, is there any way to take that table and put it over there in the noisy spot, and then we have that table? I'm like, unfortunately, they already asked for that spot because they really wanted a more quieter place, which is kind of what she wanted, but like, first come, first serve. So it even like in the reservation it says wants a quiet spot. And I'm like, I'm sorry, they called first, but so they get the right of way sort of thing. She's like, okay, well, I'll just wait for my friend. I'm like, all right. So I give her like 2 minutes, and I'm really busy at this time too, so I'm running back and forth. And I could tell she was so uncomfortable sitting there. And then she came back up to me again at the counter, basically. It's like where you would go check out if you were to stand up to go check out. I really need a different spot because it is just so loud. I'm actually deaf in one ear, and I'm like, okay, sorry. And she said, I don't even know how I'm going to talk to my friend and have this nice dinner with her because I can't even hear her. I wouldn't be able to hear her. I can't even hear myself think. I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, there's nothing I can do about it really at this point. And I'm like, well, we can seat you outside. And this lady, Carol, she like Not even like a, oh haha, like that's funny. Outside, if you don't know, it's like minor traffic noise outside. That's the only obstacle as far as noise outside. Carol full on doesn't even say like, haha. I said, well, we can sit outside, and she's like, like, tilted head and everything. And my friend, neighbors right here, like laughing a little bit. And I'm like, well, believe it or not, it might be actually quieter out there. There's some car noise, but the later the night goes, the less cars there are, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be quieter than in here, because it's a small restaurant. Everyone's really close, and like the volume levels compete, so it just gets loud. And there's kitchen noise too, and there's music too, and so I'm like, it might be a better spot outside, but you know, I don't know. That's one of your options. And she was like, well, okay, you're trying your best. I'm like, okay. So she sits back down. And then my neighbor friends here, they're like, if you want, they can have our table, we can switch with them. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then they're like, but maybe not. The kitchen noise is probably even louder than any other noise there. So she's back at her table. She comes, I ask if she wants something to drink. I came up to her, I'm like, would you like something to drink while she waits? She's like, no, I'll be okay, because I have to wait till she gets here. We may not even stay here. I'm like, okay, whatever, you do you. So I leave, and then the friend comes, and the friend's a very nice looking person and very approachable person. I'm not saying Carol's, and you can tell some people have vibes that are just like, they could possibly be difficult, or just, I don't know, we'll just leave it at that. So the friend comes in, and I'm helping people outside. There's other tables outside, and the friend's like, I don't know, maybe we could try outside. And she's like, okay. But instead of sitting like up in there's like a porch, and then there's like lower seating, which is even closer to the street. They didn't choose the porch, they chose way over there by the street. So it's loud, but that's what they went with. But honestly, it was way quieter than inside. So they went with that.
Let me interject. So by the time the friend shows up, is that the official reservation time?
Yes.
So you're just being accommodating until her actual time, when really you could have said,
you wait.
You can't sit here, this is...
I really could have done that,
okay,
yes.
I'm just curious on your timeline.
So I go, and I'm like, would you like something to drink? And they said, we'll both have water. And she's like, well, do you have a wine list or any other alcohol? And I'm like, no, we don't. We don't. And we don't have a license to bring your own either. And she's like, okay, I was just hoping to find something special or something. I'm like, I'm sorry, not here. She was okay with that. Friend was okay with that. And then I get their waters. I come back, like, in the most timely manner, which was ridiculous because everybody else was waiting for so long. I'm not saying I can inconvenience them, but, like, with the timing, it took a long time for me to get to everybody. I come back with their waters, and I get their order, and the ordering process was the most seamless and easiest, and it was really quick, too. She wanted the seared ahi tuna steak, which, education, it's a ahi tuna, which usually comes in about a triangle shape, and it's red in color, and usually people like to eat it very rare or just barely seared even, or just like touched with hot, and then it's like red inside. Here, here's a picture of what it should look like, or what it could look like. And she said, I'll have the seared ahi steak. I'm like, okay, that's great. What would you like on your rice? And so the meal comes with the ahi tuna steak, which is, I can't remember how many ounces. It's a good portion. Carrots is a side, and then rice separately, a side salad, and then the table comes with rolls. Friend gets teriyaki beef, rice, everything else the same, salad, rolls on the table, just water for both of them. That was it. I get the order, and then there's a long pause of it taking forever to get to them, but it actually wasn't that long. It was like 15 minutes, which is relatively an average time for most sit-down restaurant. And I don't know, it was a little fast. So. And it wasn't like I said, hey, they need their food fast because they're inconvenient, crazy people, but no, they were okay. And they finally got their food. I think I didn't give it to them. I think somebody else did. But what she was envisioning with the ahi tuna, she didn't say any of this or how she'd like it, but she wanted ahi tuna to be like literally just of heat. So the edges were still red, which is hard because heat still comes around the side and mildly cooks it too. Because once the fish gets cooked a little bit, it goes from red to like
pale brown.
A pale brown, almost gray. I know that sounds so unappetizing, but it's a gray. As you saw in the picture. Anyways, yeah, it's true. Tuna is that color. So she gets her food. The other lady gets her food, and they seem to like it from the beginning. And then I went and checked on it like maybe less than 5 minutes later, and she's like, "This isn't quite how I envisioned it. The ahi tuna itself inside is really cold. Often that's pretty common for it to be not freezing, not frozen, but like below or about room temperature." Because it's lightly seared. It's almost like a raw fish type of temperature, which is typically room temperature, not warm. Or it could be warm, but it's not ridiculous. It's the whole steak. It's about this thick, and sometimes we cut it in half. But if it's a steak and they want it rare, then if you cut it thin, then it'll just be cooked too quickly, and then it won't actually be rare anymore. But I said, well. Let me see what we could do. We can like re-cook it a little bit longer to like give it heat basically, but not overcook it by making it more medium or medium to well. So I take it to the back of the kitchen. I'm like, lady, yes, I told the people in the back about like her complaints about the noise too. And I'm like, lady that didn't like the noise, Carol, didn't like how this ahi's cooked. It was too cold in the middle. And he's like, the cook is like, well, that's pretty common. I'm like, okay. Maybe we can like cut the ahi in half and then cook it just lightly again, that's what we did. And I bring it back to her, and she's like, okay, thanks, yeah, that looks good. I come back not a minute later, she hadn't even touched it yet. And pause for just informational, the friend has been great this whole time, hasn't barely talked to me at all, and is trying to enjoy a conversation with this said Carol, but like, Carol's a talker, friend is a listener, so she hasn't been saying much, and I kind of felt bad, but I don't know, they're friends for a reason, I guess. But I bring back I check back on this steak the second time, and she's like, yeah, I don't really like this isn't how I envisioned it, now it's just a little bit too cooked. She hadn't touched it. She did not touch this at all, I guarantee it, because I saw how it came back. She didn't touch it. She maybe like moved a little bit, but it's still red on the inside and just slightly gray on the outside. She didn't even try it. I don't understand. So she was just like, I let them eat a little bit, and I'm like, well, maybe oh, by the way, she ate the rice, she ate the carrots, the salad was gone, the rolls were gone, so she ate everything else. And the friend was slowly eating, but I don't want to be like, okay, well, we're ending the dinner because she's done. So I let the friend eat. 20 minutes later, I say, would you like any box? And she's like, actually, this really wasn't good at all. I don't want to eat this. This isn't good. This is not how I envisioned it. I'm like, okay, well, that's how it comes. So I just said, all right, that's all right. She's like, it's no fault on you. I don't think that's how I envisioned it. So I offered, we always have this like policy, I offered like, I can get you any other entree, any other sides if you want, just to make sure you leave hungry and happy. And she didn't take.
Hungry.
Oh, you're right, not hungry. Full and happy.
Yeah.
Hungry. She's like, no, it's okay. I wanted to enjoy this night's dinner with my friend here, but this not only didn't fill me up because I didn't like it, but it ruined my appetite too. And I'm like, inside. You could have tried it the second time, but she didn't. And she was just like, nah, I'm okay. I'm just gonna keep talking and over-talking my friend and just being overbearing on her and complain about my whole evening. But I'm okay. I'm like, alright, I'll take the food. And then a friend interjected at this moment, was like, you want to take that home later and maybe you can cook it how you'd like? And she's like, oh no, I don't want that. And she's like, okay. So I take the food, and I take the friend's food too, and I'm like, would you like any dessert? They're like, oh no, we're okay, which is fine. And then I say, do you guys want separate checks? And they said, yeah. So I go separate the checks, and I bring them back. I give the friend's bill, and then I bring her bill, and she just like, what's this for? And stares at me, and I'm like, I said this, I was getting really upset at this point, and I said this, and I probably shouldn't, and I was just like, this is the bill for the ahi tuna steak. I was just straight up with her. Just like, oh, even after I didn't enjoy it and stuff, and I didn't even like it at all, and it ruined my dinner? And I said, yes. Let me figure out. I really didn't know what to say then. I was just like trying to be nice, but also trying to be really direct because this lady is clearly like one of those people that just it will never be satisfied and nobody wish they came to their place of business. So she is like, even though I didn't even like it at all and it totally ruined my dinner, I'm like, well, we made it how it was described on the menu and that's what you kind of wanted. So we have to charge you. Okay, that's all I said. I wanted to say you also had majority of your meal, so you enjoyed most of it, but so that's why you should have to pay for it because we made it how it was supposed to be made and you wanted it and you're here and you ate most of it. But I didn't. I just said what I said before and then she's like, okay, well, I'm not paying for this because this is not how I wanted it and I'm leaving hungry now because this ruined my dinner. And she was getting really like sitting here. I was there like backing it up. I'm like, oh boy. And the poor friend. She was just like embarrassed the entire time. And I thought she would like voice up at this point and be like, because I was looking for anything at this point. She said, I wanted her to be like, no, it's fine. I'll take care of her bill. But she didn't ever. Like, come on, friend. But she didn't want to throw her under the bus too, I bet, because friendship issues, and also would have been even a bigger scene to single her out. So I'm like, all right, let me go see in the kitchen let me go just make sure that's okay. So I go to the back, and I tell this to my father, my boss. And he's like, what? I'm not comping her meal. And I figured this would happen. Let me get her license number. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I mean, I could be like, let me go get the manager, and then like he would do it, but he didn't want to cause a scene. But later, actually, he was talking about like calling the cops on her because like in a way this is like illegal because she's like stealing food. But I don't know. So I come back and I'm like, okay, well he's not gonna like back. Like, he didn't want to comp your meal, unfortunately. Like, he won't comp the meal. I mean, I can pay for your meal if you want me to. Like, it's no big deal. And she's like, no, I don't want you paying for my meal. I'm like, okay. She said, a place of business should not be doing this indirect or direct. I don't remember what she said. Like, she was saying, like, a restaurant should comp this inappropriate behavior by the
Big
cook.
change should be able to handle this loss, basically.
Yeah, like it's people comp meals all the time. I'm like, okay, that's not how this works. And she was like, it's just one meal. You should be able to cover it. It's not like you're losing tons of money, but all you steak is $15, honey. So I'm like, okay, then I'll just cover it because he's not going to cover it. And I thought the friend would jump in again here, but she didn't, so okay. And she's like, no, you shouldn't. And then she's like, I'm like, okay, then whatever. And I just like take it. And then she's like, so are you going to pay for it then? And I'm like, yeah, I will pay for it. Like, not like, are you going to pay for it? Like, so you're going to pay for it, right? I was so upset at this point. I'm like, this lady literally made me pay for her bill. I'm so upset. I'm so mad. This is definitely the worst customer experience. It's way worse than the last time when that guy grabbed my arm and, oh, that was okay. That was, okay. The friend was just, the whole time, she just, oh, and then I was like, okay, well, I said, you won't have to pay for your meal today. She's like, did you cover it then? I'm like, yeah, I covered it. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go tell hundreds of people how terrible a place this is. I'm like, even after I just Pono Basso, just covered your meal? She's like, I'm gonna go tell hundreds of people how terrible a restaurant this is, and it's run by people that are so rude and so, how did she say it? Basically, like, didn't know how to serve food the proper way, and I'm gonna tell everyone. And the friend was just like, okay, well. And at this point, like I said before, there's certain people that go to places that will never be pleased even when they walk in, no matter what. So And I feel like those same people attract those same people, and so all of her friends are those same people. I'm like, you go tell everyone. Tell everyone. Email the world. Because those type of people...
That's how you are anyways. Like, if you start spreading that on Facebook, everybody who knows you is be like, yeah, they do that all the time, and they just tune them out.
In fact, they'll probably be like, oh wait, where'd they go? Let's go. It's probably really good. So Carol just ruined my evening, but not only like did she make me mad, but like because I was catering to her so much, and I kind of in a way felt like, oh my gosh, she's probably gonna want her meal comped, and that's what she came for this entire time. Like a con artist, like 30 minutes before she was like actually complained about not paying for it. And I was just already getting mad. I'm like, ah, oh, dang it.
Well, why would you con it if you don't actually enjoy the meal and eat it?
You're right. That also reminds me, side tangent, of somebody that came, same situation, could not ever be pleased. And she was saying how she's so excited to try this place, and then she got her food. It was our teriyaki chicken, which is probably our most popular thing. Oh, this is the same way. She was doing all the talking, the friend wasn't doing anything. The friend kind of enjoyed it, but then she said she'd take it home for a box. The other friend, like, do you want to take this home? Do you want a box for it? Because she literally didn't touch it. She didn't touch it at all. The chicken, the rice, the salad, she didn't try any of it. And I'm like, do you want any of this to go? And she's like, no, this is not good, and I'd never want it ever again. And we're like, okay, all right. And then my mom, who's a very nice person and would never intend to be rude at all, was said, because she didn't know that I asked for a box, and I'm like, do you want a box for this? And she's like, no, why would I want a box for this? I wouldn't even give this to my dog. Straight to the heart. I can't believe they said that to my mom. I was getting really mad. So that was another really unfortunate thing, and I'm like, wow, I hope you never show up here again. Oh, there were some more juicy parts.
You could turn her away if she came back again, huh?
Oh yeah, and I will. If I see her outside, I will go outside and say, I'm sorry, you cannot dine here ever. Since she made a reservation, we have a protocol, which I am proud to say I made. Not really, but when you make a reservation, you leave your name and your name, your number, how many people, what time.
Name of your firstborn.
Your social security, your credit card. And so not only just because like in case there's an issue like an overlapping reservation, or like we have a question about your order if you pre-ordered, or like whatever, but sometimes people like come and then they leave their phone or they leave their purse and like, oh crap, how do I get a hold of them? Well, I can call them, no problem. Or it's just an easier way, and it's better to communicate. So she made a reservation, and her caller ID shows up. And I have her first, her middle name, and her last name, and her phone number.
Middle?
Middle name's on her caller ID. And Dad Boss was like, get her number, get her address, get her name, get her middle name. I'm like, I actually have her middle name. And so I gave it to him for some reason. I don't know what he's gonna do with that, but also I hope nobody goes and does anything to this poor lady. You're probably gonna get conned. She's gonna steal your ahi. But that's my experience, and it feels way better talking about it now. YouTube is definitely therapy. But I'm so mad. I was just like, I couldn't believe that she was doing this. I was shaking like the whole night because I was just like mad, angry, sad the whole time. She was so mean and so rude, and I am shaking with anger, and I just wanted to. We're okay. Evil.
Were there other people outside also dining that saw the commotion?
No. So they were so far away.
You really did have some quiet.
Yeah. There was one table that sat in... Oh yeah, I forgot. The loud party that was inside.
They came outside and talked by their car?
They came outside. There was like 11 of them. They came outside and they wanted a picture in the front of the building, and they were just like blah, 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 like talking loud, and they were just like a rambunctious like group. They're like in their 40s probably, but some of them were like on the second, like the patio area, and some of them were up on the patio, which is about 3 feet above the ground level, and some of them were down on the ground level. I'm telling you, this picture was terrible. I don't know why they were like all...
You guys don't even serve alcohol.
I know. Some of them were standing up, some of them were like not even crouching or like going down, like they were on their like squatting. Like, they were so low. I'm like, this doesn't look great.
Did you take it?
Yeah. And then some of them were on the floor level, but they weren't like in front of them, like a nice like tiered picture. Like, they were over there. And then some of them were in the dirt, so they were even lower than people on the ground level. And then one girl that was over here was like, oh, I'm probably not in the shot. So she comes over here, way lower than everyone else, crouches down. Okay, this is totally irrelevant. Never mind, I'm getting off on a tangent. The picture's bad, and they're just really... Oh, I forgot one major part. They wanted a picture next to this sign that's like King Kamehameha plastic sign that's very common. I don't know. And the guy like is coming to like Singing in the Rain style, grabs the column and like is swinging up on the second, like on the patio, but like on the outside of the fence, and he hits his head on the sign. I swear this thing cracked. I should go take a picture of it. Or maybe it just the paint, like I don't know. There was a noise, but amongst all this, because of that, like they were even louder and laughing and blah blah blah, and they were like not 5 feet from these ladies. And they went out here to avoid them, and they were just like, oh, he hit his head, ha ha ha, and they're just like, can I be quiet? Oh, there's one more piece. I will insert some footage here of like what the tipping situation was, because clearly one of the ladies didn't pay, nor did she tip, which was stupid. Because she made it clear that I was doing my best, and she's like, thank you for doing everything you did, but I'm not gonna tip you. I even moved her table, set it up. Oh, she never had a lack of water. She asked for more rolls.
Anybody that night?
Yeah, she got all of my attention. The fact that I gave her so much attention, which made me draw attention from other people, which I would have rather had them more attended to because they were starving of it. And then it just was for nothing. Stinking Carol. She didn't pay. The friend paid, and I have the footage here. You can see. Here's the friend's receipt. Her bill was already paid for. She just had a teriyaki beef plate, which is $15, and that was a pretty. I mean, it's a good tip. It's a great tip. Thank you for the tip. And then I see underneath here, I'm like, what the $5? She tipped for her friend's meal too, which, can I remind you again, she did totally not paid for it. And if she were to tip on the meal that she had, which would have been $13.97, her tip percentage was like a 31% tip. So just, yeah, good job, friend. I felt like she was being held hostage because I could tell that she wanted to be like, on her way out, like come inside really quickly, like, I'm so sorry for this meal, she's terrible. But I feel like she's held against her will. She couldn't even say that because she was just...
a friend that's guilted him to go into dinner.
Yeah, and her friend was just talking the whole time, even as they were leaving. So she, like, and I felt like she didn't even want to write anything because she'd see it. She's like, what are you writing? Are you throwing me under the bus? I hate you. Give me your money. So, I guess she snuck it under last second because I did see a little bit of a shuffle. She left a $5 bill underneath her, like, signed receipt. I can't. I shouldn't. But she's a female. Watch out. That's all I can give you. You're out there. You better hope I don't see you again. Ah! Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for watching this extremely long rant. This is probably going to be a really long video. It's going to be great to edit. But thank you for watching, guys. Bye. One more thing, after credits scene. I hate it when people like call me by nicknames, like, because they don't know my name, like Paul. There's actually a story to that. When people call me pal or like buddy or like something like that. Well, she's like, hey, you did your best, pal. And I'm like, pal? Who says that? Only. We not pals. She reached out when I was like, hey, I'm sorry. She reached out and like grabbed my, not grabbed, but like put her hand. It was like, it looked like Yzma from Emperor's New Grooves. Her hands were like purple and like, grabbed my arm and was like, it's okay. And I'm like, oh. I pulled back just like, not like fast, but like, don't touch me. Like, okay, it's okay, that's fine. But she touched me. just like the last story time of people touching me, it happened again.